Southern Fried Podcast News Desk, conservative and Christian news brought to you each Sunday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We will be covering news that affects America and you. From politics nationally and to the state level, we will discuss topics that are breaking each week and get your input as well. Join us each week for news from a conservative and Christian outlook. God bless America and God bless you. And good evening. Hope all is well. Hope you've had a wonderful Sunday. Sorry if you hear noise in the background. That was my coffee maker sort of finishing up a good brew of coffee here on a Sunday evening. So you got to have that. And hey, Chickbait, glad you're here. Yeah, I hope you had a good Sunday. It's a good Sunday at church. We had a good time. Granddaughter's a little bit under the weather tonight, but she'll be okay. I hope you was able to have a good Sunday. We started out this morning with a good look into Psalms, and then we made our way to church and did a little studio work today. Got a lot more of that to do as we really, and we're fixing to move our studio. You won't notice too much. You might notice a little bit. We'll probably show more of the studio. We're fixing to go there. Thank you for that. Yeah, you know, me and her were sick last Sunday, and she was a little bit, she was there this morning, but a little bit under the weather. Well, thank you. Yeah, I do dress up sometimes. I do put the suit on, you know, and play the part. Hair slicked back, what I got left of it, and what's not gray, we slick her up a little bit and go to church. And so I do try to be presentable, as we might say, although sometimes we do our old-fashioned days or something. We might have on the overalls or whatever it is. But we, you know, we had a good time today. Definitely we're praying about the elections and praying about our country. We're going to look at a few things tonight, and I've got some news I'm going to have to pull up into, so I've prepared it, but I'm going to pull it up in there, and I'll do that during a break as we go into this. Usually it's just me. Now, Rob sometimes joins me, but I'm more of the one that will talk politics and talk basically news around the nation. And there is a lot of news going on, and I want to cover some of that. Yeah, thank you for. We appreciate your kind words. Hello, Tire Man or Toyota Man, still on from this side of it. How you doing? I hope you've had a good Sunday as well. And let's, you know, I pulled a few items, you know. So basically, and I hope you know, and I know it's just Georgia, but I do hope that people got to hear the interview that we did with the deputy director from Catoosa County, nice enough, Rebecca Kaysen, nice enough to come on and just cover the main points. I mean, we could talk for a week about the nuts and bolts of stuff, way down deep into it. And most people don't want to do that. Yeah, the Browns lost today. I'm actually got the Falcons on to my left. I was watching a little bit of it before I came on the air. And I do see that the Falcons have played well so far, 7-0 in the first or second quarter now, I think that is. Cowboys lost, so Cowboy Cook is crushed this afternoon. I mean, they made a big comeback, and they didn't quite they didn't quite get back all the way. He left me a couple of messages, and basically one of them, I don't know if Cook's in here tonight or if he'll be in here. He may be mourning. He was saying that, you know, the Cowboys, you know, he loves them, always love them, but sometimes he you know, it's kind of like a love-hate thing. You know, you love them when they win, and you're frustrated. And of course, that was a big game against Baltimore. And we're gonna. I asked him. I said, let's, you know, after the news desk, how about let's come in talking sports for a bit tonight, or maybe by tomorrow night. It's probably got to be tomorrow night because I think he's in mourning. You know, I mean, the Cowboys, they're off to a 1-2 start. The Ravens were 0-2, now 1-2. So, you know, that's our we got church and football and now politics on a Sunday. But the Falcons are 7-0 in the second quarter against the champion Kansas City Chiefs. Of course, Pacheco, just to talk football just for a second, I really hated that. I saw that hit that bit him back, and I knew he got hurt. Kansas City's driving first drive they was intercepted. Great job by Simmons actually, who got that interception, and looks like they got a touchdown. So we're going to be tied. So Rasheed Rice just run one in. So. But there is a talk, so maybe there's a flag, so maybe they will hold that hope here. But this should be a good game. It is in Atlanta, so that's good for them. It's hard to play in Kansas City, Arrowhead, really hard to do that. Just handle them rutabagas. Absolutely. But yeah, we have been keeping up with some of the news. We did talk again, Rebecca, and talking about those things as we're, closing in, and we're getting closer, 40-something days now to the election, and training will be coming up for us that are poll managers and assistant managers, and we do that each time and get ready for that. She gave us some deadlines that we hadn't been reporting. That was interesting. So go back and watch that. It's first-hand information from somebody in the know, and I appreciate her coming on. And she said she'd be willing to come on anytime. So thank you for that. That's a real blessing. And I would love to we won't bother during the election season, so to speak, when early voting and all that starts, but we probably will have her back just after the election to talk about how things went, from her end. But I do want to say, in Georgia, this election commission in Georgia has been, it's an election board actually. And, Robert said, "Hey, I heard something." We were on the other night, and he said, "I heard about this ballot counting." And so unless there's I guess a judicial intervention here with a stay or something, this is from Reuters. Georgia Election Board orders hand count of votes in U.S. presidential contest. But the Georgian Republican-controlled election board voted on Friday to require a labor-intensive hand count of potentially millions of ballots in November, a move voting rights advocates say could cause delays. It's not going to cause delay. It should not cause delay. Let me say that right now. Introduce errors. How? I don't know how it can introduce errors. It's just going to, and I'm going to explain it in a second, and lay the groundwork for spurious. So I love how they go. The spurious. They're trying to scare voters. Spurious challenges in the battleground state. We are a battleground state. That's the second thing they've said true in there. One, that it's been required, and two, that it is a battleground state. It goes on to say the hand count rule is the latest rule change passed in recent months by a pro-Trump conservative majority. Of course, they've got to throw that in. Of the board, who say they are attempting to make the November 5th election more secure and transparent. Voting rights groups say the changes, could allow rogue county election board members to delay or deny certification. That's a lie. It's not going to happen. I'm going to tell you why in a minute. Results throwing this, and by the way, and I'm not going to say it because I am a member of I am a poll worker and all. I'm not going to. I'll tell you about them headphones in a minute. Thank you, though. They've been through it. I feel like a real radio guy now because I've been rough on them. Chick bait. But he says, throwing the state's vote into chaos while the state attorney general's office warned the board was likely exceeding its statutory authority with some of the moves. Georgia is one of 7 states likely to determine the contest. I agree with that. Between Republican presidential candidate Donald Trump and his Democratic opponent, Vice President Kamala Harris. Well, let me explain this real quick because as far as I understand it, we'll get more information from them. But that article could have went a whole lot way. That is a poorly written article. That's fear mongering. It is not going to be a delay, and it should have no controversy. And I can speak from authority on this because I'm in the precinct. And simply at the end of the night, we do that at the end of early voting anyway. And so at the end of election day, which is a long day, we're used to it. I mean, that thing is, 15, 16 hours long, but that's okay. That's what we're signed up for. We pull out the ballots out of the scanner or scanners. We usually have 2 there, I think, on election day. Or maybe 1. It depends on I think it'd be 2. I'm not sure, but maybe it's 2 on early voting. 1 election day. We're not a huge precinct, but what we're going to do is we always pull the ballots out anyway out of the scanner. There's shutdown procedures on the iPads, the ballot marking devices, and the scanner. We have precise ways we shut those down. We have to go in order. We have someone who reads, and they always say the reader is the leader. They're the one telling the others what to do. It could be, and there's always 3 on the scanner to open it up or to shut it down. Once we go through checks on that, and at the end, we always pull the ballots out anyway. We get those in an order. We put those in a travel case, and that travel case is sealed. There's a bunch of other things going on, signatures and all this stuff. All we're going to do in this, as long as the judge doesn't stop this, and I don't think they would, and I don't think they should, all we're going to do at the end, we pull those ballots out, is the scanner produces 3 tapes. It's all built into the program, and you produce 3 tapes. One of the tapes goes on the window there, the door, the clear area where they can see it, of the precinct itself. They all get 3 signatures on them, and then then there's 2, and they're put in places to be brought back securely. Those have to be signed and secured. We put those in, seal that case. All we're going to do is count those ballots before they go in the case, and we're not looking at who voted for who. All we're doing is counting ballots, and those ballots must match the number that the scanner has produced. Let's just give an easy number. Let's say that the scanner says 200 people voted today at your precinct. With all the early voting, it's going to be between 200 and 300 at my precinct, most likely, knowing the number of people in that area. There'll be a lot of early voting. At the end of the night, we'll pull those out. We'll count them. We'll put them probably in stacks of 25 or something, and there'll be several of us involved, and we'll just get those counted. As long as that count comes up good, it matches that tape, we're good. It'll take an extra 5 minutes or so. If it would be a little longer if it was a lot more ballots. It's not that big. It's not that big a deal. It's not causing chaos. It will not delay the election. It does not steal the election for anybody. That's hogwash, as we say down here in the South, and it absolutely probably should be done anyway, to be honest. I applaud them. They've had to feel through or listen to a lot of evidence that have been presented. And honestly, that's on the small side of things we'd like to see them change in the state of Georgia. So don't let the 3-letter networks throw fear and scare, and don't let those who are just always trying to cause dissension, that somebody's trying to steal the election. No, that's not the case. So, yeah, y'all having a great conversation over here, and I'm sort of out of the loop here, but I'm I'm seeing some of them, and but yeah, it's just ridiculous that they would say that, and so yeah, and then it was a little bit more in that article. I'm not going to go through it because they sort of go back in history to 2020. We're not going back to 2020. We're in 2024, and we're going to move forward. So it's just ridiculous that's going on. So I get it. If people don't really pay attention, those news bites and headlines will say something and people go, oh my goodness, there they go again. And honestly, that can come from both sides. I mean, it can. I don't agree with everything I hear, no matter what way I vote. I do have a brain, and I do, put some logic and wisdom and thought into it. I ask good people that are maybe in the more of the know than I am. I do my research, and you do what you do. I mean, we all have the right to feel like we feel. By the way, Chick Bait, I did watch one of your programs. I think it was the last one you loaded up about the what was how do you say his name? Cobalt, that case. Interesting. I thought it was some interesting synopsis there. You have a nice little program that you do, and it fits you, if I could say that. It just fits you. If I, not knowing what your program would be like, and knowing you for a little bit of time, in watching that, I had a chance to talk to Rob. I was going to tell Rob, I said, Coburger. Okay. Coburger. You got to keep me straight because they get on to me in South Georgia for saying Colquitt. But you have a nice little program. It fits you. It just fits your personality. It fits you right down to the ground, as we say, as the little girl said in what was that, True Grit, that she said right down to the ground. So it just fits you. You have little things that pop up and you do, and it's a good program. I enjoyed it. I did read some of the, I'm one of those. Do you read comments? Reading comments is, I'll watch comments sometimes more than I will actually listen to something. Not for yours, because I was interested in that, but articles and stuff, I read comments. Some people are just crude and mean and whatever. Some people are funny. Some people are smart, and some people are smart alecks. I mean, you get it all. So yeah, well, don't take it to heart. Don't take it to heart. You did a good job. I don't know. I'm not going into your program or talking about that case. I was thinking about it today a little bit. My mind does that. It kind of goes off in different directions. And yeah, give me a few minutes. We'll get you up. I'm gonna have to take a break to probably do it because I do need to get this set up. Again, I'm redoing my schedule. I've got the new equipment coming in this week. You probably won't notice it, or you may. Some of the stuff you will notice a new mic that's on the way. I like this mic. Nothing wrong with it. We're going to keep it. It'll probably be used for guests, but if as long as the new mic does good. But we've got some stuff coming in. Some of it was here today. We're actually upgrading and well, amen. I was glad you were there. You know, that. Let me just stop right here. You brought up the seizure, and I mean, there's not much. We're not hiding anything, and I got to give Rob a lot of credit. He's not here tonight, but thank you. We appreciate that. Yeah, they can come in and throw tomatoes at us for nothing else, but. Yeah, I got to give Rob credit. This is on a personal note. It's not politics, but it is important, I think, to me. We didn't make mention of it the other night. We just moved on. But I do want to say we do have, and we said that after the first one. First of all, there's nothing we can do about it. I mean, they come when they come. Rob has made a decision that I'm not going to let it stop me. I think we should applaud that. We have done hundreds of shows and never had it happen. Recorded live, doesn't matter. Never had it happen. It's happened now twice within a reasonable amount of time, a very close amount of time, I should say, not reasonable. We will do what we can. Sometimes I was talking, I didn't notice. I went back and watched that today. I was actually yesterday I shared that with some people that were concerned. And, sometimes you're in the middle of a show, you got a lot of things going on. Your eyes are on many different things. And so it was at that moment. And sometimes I didn't know what he's doing. I really didn't know. I didn't know what it was at first, but you saw it, you figured it out. And, but what I wanted to say about this is this, we don't edit. We could have pulled that. It was live, but we could have pulled that down and we could have edited that out, or we could have pulled the whole program. And if he asked me if he said, could we do that? I would do it in a heartbeat. It's a medical, and it concerns him. And if he said, I don't want that, then we would pull it. He has made the decision that we'll not do that, and we don't edit anything. And so you get goofed sometimes. Sometimes mics quit working. We don't go back and edit it. We would pull it or we'd edit it if something bad happened in a live that we didn't want out there. We would probably end the program immediately and just pull it if there was something bad. But I think that, it was twice in a month, and but I give him credit because he could happen twice at a restaurant. He's not going to go out and stop going out to eat. But I give him credit for that. But that's his decision, and I support him in however he wants to go on that. So some might look at that and say, my gosh, you need to do something. Well, we talked about it months ago, and we did exactly what we're going to do, and that is to pull him off the air. It runs its course. I will send a message to his wife, which I did. And actually, he came back pretty quick. My druthers in that night I think he just wanted to show he was okay. He was not to come back and just go on to bed because it was a really bad one, and he wasn't ready to come back on the air. But again, that's his decision, and he wanted to. So I was glad he made the decision to go on. In fact, the next day, he really wasn't that good either. He said it was a bad one. He didn't rest well. It affected him the next morning. Chick bait, you were there as kind of a helper, take some attention and stuff. And we appreciate that. So it is what it is, as we say. I mean, what are we going to do? We're not going to stop what we're doing. Anything like that can happen. So the likelihood that it's going to happen again, very high. How often? Don't know. What do? We pray and support. That's what we do. So, people have, things that happen, and you just do what you do. And, I think we can applaud the can-do spirit of wanting to keep going and to do. And this has been a real blessing. The podcast has been a blessing in a lot of ways for us. We could have never envisioned what it's became. But as he said, it's given him some things to do that he can do because there's a lot he can't do now. And he is very active during the day while I work. He's working. We both are doing things on breaks and stuff. Sometimes I'll do some things. A lot of mine's in the evening or afternoon. I get home. I do a lot in the afternoon. Rob does things during the day. He sets up interviews. He makes phone calls. He does. I do a lot of graphics and stuff on screen now. All the stuff that the logos and stuff, that's Chris. And Chris has been coming back in and talking. He's getting better every day. Same with Chris. I mean, it's his decision on when and where he wants to re-engage. He's got health problems and he has went through surgery. And he needs that time to recuperate and get better and be there with his wife. So there is no pressure from us. It's just get better, be back when you can, and we'll move forward. There's been times that I didn't feel good, and I'm one of those people that I want to show up for everything, not because of ego, just because I like it. I want to be a part. But there's times like the other morning where, here recently where I missed a program. I think it was a few weeks ago, but I just couldn't do it. There may be work things that get in the way sometimes. We have some things coming up. In fact, in a couple of weeks at work, it's going to be all hands on deck getting some surveys done. It possibly could, not morning, but it could possibly affect me that week. I don't know yet. And if so, Rob will move on and, so we'll go. So back to election and back to politics. Let me keep moving here because I want to get some stuff in this first hour that I really need to get in. So that was the first thing that I wanted to mention. I've got a couple of graphics I'm going to pull up in the. I think that's head injuries or something being go through and working with someone else, try to keep going just like Rob has done. Yeah, and you've talked about your problems as well. And, I certainly understand. I want to talk tonight about, let me give you a couple of quick hitters and I'm going to talk a little about, I probably should save this one, but I'm going to come back around to North Carolina because North Carolina has become a hotbed and you knew it was going to happen. We knew that. And this week, it'll probably kick off even more. But let me give you just a couple of quick headlines here. The Teamsters have announced they will not endorse either candidate in the race. This was from 3 days ago. The poll shows actually Trump leading among members of the union by their 1.3 million members by 59.6. We might as well say 60%. Again to 34, with some actually probably going not voting or looking at Jill Stein or something. But the Teamsters have endorsed every Democratic candidate since 2000. But there's problems. Obviously, they're not happy. But they just decided we're not making an endorsement, and they have done this before. Yes, I will. Just you got to be patient with me. I can't do it quickly because I don't have my email pulled up on the screen, and I just or whatever there's always a third and fourth party candidate. You have Libertarian, you have Green Party. They're not going anywhere, but they steal votes. I'm going to come back to that one too. Yeah, just be patient with me. I'll get you. I know you are. Just get, because I can't quickly do it, and I would disrupt the show. I'll be going to a break here in just a minute, and I'll try to get that done. I can do it through my phone, but that won't put you in the where you need to be. But I'll probably just on a break just join in with my phone real quick or something. And anyway, I'll figure it out. I've got to get the Yahoo email pulled up on screen. And last time I did that, my email, I didn't remember the password, so I know it's real technical. But they 96 they didn't endorse. They didn't make an endorsement, so it's not the first time. But I thought that was interesting. You could read a lot into that either way. I don't think their polling told them what they wanted, so as leadership, they decided not to. That's what I read out of it. That their polling is showing that Trump is leading, and so they don't want to release that because they have obviously they're very close to the Democratic Party. So that's what it looks like to me. You know what? You can say whatever you want to as leadership. You can say whatever you want to as a network, but the people will speak. And so you have created a mess. You know what? I believe that on kind of on both sides. I think the messes that are out there, some of them have been created by their own party. And so quit blaming other people. You done it to yourself. You have created a mess in our nation. Sometimes that's been Republicans. Sometimes that's been Democrats. You've created a mess in this nation, and people on both sides are not happy, and they're fed up with it, and they're looking for change. And it is what it is. If you had you know, somebody else, maybe neither one of these get as many votes. Who knows? I don't know. But I know this: a lot of what's going on in the nation, they can't blame on anybody else. It has been their own problem. They have created the mess that they're in. So if their polling numbers are not good, they need to ask themselves why and quit talking about cheating. And I would say that for either side. Look at what's going on and why have you created that. So that's one news item. Let's go to another one. This is also very telling. Now, this don't know the numbers on this, but we got percentages. But according to again, Reuters, some Muslim Americans are moving to Jill Stein in potential blow to Kamala Harris. Now, I didn't go looking for anti-Kamala Harris. I just went and looked at major networks, news organizations, and seeing what they're covering. Some of the stuff I'm going to cover I may or may not even agree with. This is their own reporting. This is what they're saying about their own, what they're looking at. So it says Muslim voters could prove crucial in close White House race. And every poll, whether you like polls or not, I don't agree with them half the time. Well, you got some polls that say it's a blowout one way or the other, and other polls say it's very tight. If I'm going to look at any poll, I've already told you, I look at Rasmussen. I do think they try to be the most that's fair. There's one other one. I'm going to try to get that one as we get close to the election. But according to this, 40% of Muslims back Stein in Michigan. Michigan's a battleground state. 12% and 12% Harris. So if you take that 40%, that does great damage. That's pulling votes away from Harris. They're not happy with the Democratic Party. Once again, another group that is not happy with the Democratic leadership. They're not happy. A lot of that is probably the Palestinian issue. I would say they're not happy. They've told them they're not happy. They want more done. It's not. Wonderful. Yeah. We definitely want to look at some of that. 2 or 3 weeks ago, I was looking at the electoral map as it looked then. We'll be coming back to that too. Chickbait says there. Let's see. So they're angry that the U.S. support for Israel offensive in Gaza are shunning Democrat Harris in the presidential race and going to third party. If you go back to Georgia, I said this 2 weeks ago, if you go back to Georgia in 2020, forget the 11,780, whether you believe they're missing, they were stolen, or they weren't, it really doesn't matter. Third parties swung the election to Biden. 60,000 votes. That's a whole lot more than 11,000. You got to ask yourself, why did those 60,000 go to the third party? Well, you obviously didn't feel you didn't get those votes. You lost them. And then, even when our deputy director was on, they anticipate somewhere around 70%, 65 or 70% in a presidential election in the state of Georgia of the registered voters who can vote. 70% will probably turn out. That's 30% of eligible voters that will not turn out in an election as important as a presidential election, and in Georgia, which is a battleground state and is swinging blue. Either way, whether you're blue and you want it to be blue or you don't want it to turn blue, why would you sit at home? These are the election officials saying they expect 30% to sit at home. Are you kidding me? I have no patience for that. Get out and vote. Why sit at home? And we've talked about absentee ballots. And she did a really good job of covering, at least in our area, about the drop box, not boxes, but box, and the monitoring on that. The absentee ballot, which Tarman, you talked about that. I don't know if you got to hear that interview, but I was thinking about you, and I told her about you, not by name, that you have used that because it cannot purple. What is the color of the Jill Stein? What color do they use? We have blue and red. Do they have a color? I don't know. I'm joking, but I really don't know. But I thought that was interesting. Okay, let's swing over to the state of North Carolina. Boy, not North Carolina and Pennsylvania is hot, 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 hot right now. No matter what your background is, no matter who you're voting for, it is exploding. All right. North Carolina judge rejects Republican challenge to student voter IDs. I think you might have heard about this. 2 days ago, a judge on Friday rejected a bid by Republicans to block North Carolina election officials from accepting a form of digital university identification popular with college students who lean Democrat. North Carolina is one of a handful of U.S. states. And can I just stop right here and say this? I know it's states make state rules and all that. But as far as a national election, can't we just have universal? Like, can it all be the same? Why do we have to have the handful of this, a handful of that? A handful of U.S. states that could decide the blah, blah, blah. Thursday's ruling ensures that a crucial block of young voters will be able to vote with a new form of digital identification used by the University of North Carolina. So it is digital. I'm assuming, and I may be wrong, that it has a photograph. The Republican National Committee sued to block use of the digital IDs on September 12th, arguing they did not meet the state's voter ID requirements and were susceptible to fraud. Okay, well, I get it. There's a lot of things that are accepted, but they usually are government issued. They're government issued IDs. They didn't respond to this, and of course, they're going to go down into the judge's ruling said the plaintiffs have not advanced any credible link between the state board's approval of Mobile One cards, that's what they're called, and a heightened risk of ineligible voters casting illegal votes, Gregory said. That is the judge, Keith Gregory. So just a quick hitter there, but rejected that. So for those that say the Republicans get everything they want, no, they don't. For the ones that say Democrats get everything they want, no, they don't. I don't. We're having great comment sections here tonight, but you want to have Rob? I'll go jump over. Oh, did you find out the color for the third party? I don't know the color. Okay, so that was a couple of articles there I wanted to cover, and we've got more. So I've got a few other articles, and I want to take a break, try to get some things pulled up into the StreamYard that I need, and then I'm going to try to get the legendary, illustrious Chickbait on the air, live from just outside of Cleveland, Ohio. Browns go down. What's happened to the Browns? The $250 million man ain't getting it done. It's not just him, though, I know. All right, we're about a little over 30 minutes in. I've been going so hard, I have not even taken my first sip of coffee. This is the first one I've had all day. My stomach was a little bothering me earlier. I have, you know what? I mean, this is not an infomercial, but it is an infomercial for me. I love peanuts. I do. I love them. But my system just doesn't like them anymore. And I snacked on some peanuts yesterday. They've been causing me problems. Do y'all have anything y'all eat that you like, that you shouldn't eat, or you stay away from most of the time, but you do it sometimes? And then after you eat it, you're like, oh, why did I do that? I've been like that all day. I love peanuts. I don't love every peanut. Me and Rob had this discussion. What is a peanut? What is not? I like olives. But I like peanuts. I really do like peanuts. I love honey roasted. I love dry roasted. All different kinds. If you're at a ball game, you got to have some peanuts. You got to have that. I love the salt on them. They're probably, oh my God, spicy pickle peanuts in the shell. Now, I'm out on that. I'm out. All right, let's run a couple of ads. I am wearing our store hat tonight, and I will have first of the week a new coffee mug that's from our store that I just ordered in. It looks good. I cannot wait to get it in. We're going to have a few things like that we can show, and I know times are tough, but if you get some extra money and you can find something in your budget, and I understand money, I do, and so I haven't ordered everything, and I won't either because it is expensive to do those things. We do have a 20%, and we're running 20, 15, and I think another, and then one of the shipping charges they're already in there through all the month of October. So that's one a week. And I think if the way I actually got that discount myself, and if you use it once, then you can't use it again in that week. And when they do another one, it would give the option, obviously, because you've already got the discount. So I was watching how Spreadshop, which is the one we use, do that. And can you sell number two pencils? I'm assuming we can anything, I guess. Uh, but we are going to add to it. We have a lot of items in there. We'll try to do some holiday stuff as well. That's coming. I got to talk to the crew and get thoughts about that, and then we got to get in there and do it and get it set up. So I'd like a few things for the holiday. We're not going to redo the whole store. That's too much work, but we will add in or modify a few items. I am ordering a polo. I started to order it the other day. I waited because I had a couple of things I wanted to do. I'm going to order a polo. They do have this polo in my size. Praise God. It's our store. We actually have it in my size. I'm so happy, and I am losing weight, but I need to lose some more, and they have my size. And so, is it too early, by the way, to bring out the old vest? I love it. I went to church like this tonight. I had my tie and jacket on, as you saw this morning. Don't have scars, but that's a good idea. Um, but I do like the vest. I like the sleeves and the vest and all that. So, all right, I've ran my mouth for another 5 minutes. I need to get to this, and we'll try to get some things done. Y'all think give good thoughts towards Rob. He's not nothing wrong. I just wanted you to pray for him. So he'll be back in here soon. Commercial cometh. See ya. Hey, this is Dave with the Southern Fried Podcast. Please join us each Wednesday evening as we go live for Hump Day News, where we talk about a little bit of everything. We'll laugh a little bit. We'll tell you a little bit of sports news and other news that's going on. Each Wednesday evening at 7 p.m., join us for the SFP Hump Day News live. You're midweek, making your way through another work week. Join us, and we'll try to make you laugh a little bit and keep your day a little brighter. Hey, this is Dave with the Southern Fried Podcast. One of the favorite things that we do is sit out on the front porch with a glass of sweet tea and just talk about whatever. That's what you do on the front porch. Wave at the neighbors as they go by, or even a stranger. We're friendly people, and we like to just talk about whatever. You never know what Rob and Dave are going to talk about on the front porch, and sometimes Chris joins us, and then you really don't know what we're going to talk about. We'll laugh a little bit, we'll shock each other, and maybe, just maybe, you'll join in with us and chat with us on the front porch. Join us live for Front Porch Talking each Friday night at 7 p.m. That's your friends here at the Southern Fried Podcast. Here at the Southern Fried Podcast, one of the blessed things we've been able to do is partner with the wonderful people at Animal Rescue Alliance, Inc., ARA. These folks are a no-kill shelter in Donaldsonville, Georgia. You see the contact info on the screen. And these folks would love to have you come adopt a dog or a cat. They have folks that come from all over the United States, not just the state of Georgia. They're great folks. It's been a wonderful partnership between Southern Fried Podcast and ARA. And we've been blessed to meet some of the folks that have adopted animals from ARA. Also, we've been able to encourage people to donate and volunteer. They encourage volunteers that are in the area, and they're just wonderful people. We'd love for you to contact them, meet them too, go on their website, see some of the animals, and we know you'll want to partner with them too by taking a dog or a cat to their forever home. Join with us, the Southern Fried Podcast, in support of this great work of the Animal Rescue Alliance, Inc., ARA. We know you'll be happy you did. I know we are. Come listen to Mama Said on the Southern Fried Podcast each Monday night at 7 p.m. We love those things that Mama said. Mama had a lot to say to us, and we appreciate it. It means a lot to us. God was good to us when he gave us the gift of mothers. And we'll never forget our mom. Be they living or deceased, moms are powerful in our life, and they shared a lot of things with us. We love to talk about those things on Monday night. Sometimes we invite guests up to be a part of the show, but we'll be live and we'll have lots to say. Come join us each Monday night at 7 p.m. live on the Southern Fried Podcast on your social media network that you follow. The Southern Fried Podcast now has its own store. Go to sfplive.com/store. These links are also found on Facebook and X and some of the other social streams. You will find shirts and hats and mugs and bags and all kinds of items with many different designs. These are just but a few of the more than 250 items that we have with different designs. We hope you'll come and shop, support the podcast. Every dollar that is paid will go towards keeping the podcast growing, and we thank you for your support. sfplive.com/store. Go shop today and get that favorite person in your life their Southern Fried Podcast item, and it'll help us advertise the podcast as you wear these things or take these things out into the public. We thank you for your support. If you have any questions, email us at southernfriedpodcast@yahoo.com. We'll be glad to answer. We're running some specials as well, 20, 25, and even 30% off in some cases. This will eliminate the mailing charges for sure. So go to sfplive.com/store for your Southern Fried Podcast items today. Remember, Christmas is just around the corner. Thank you. The Southern Fried Podcast is pleased to announce our newest show called Southern Talk. We merged two shows called Manners and Mannerisms 101 into this new show that we felt would better fit our interest in talking all things Southern. So join us for Southern Talk, where we still cover all those manners and customs that we are known for in the South. But now we can expand the topics and reach of this show in a show called Southern Talk with Rob and Dave. And I'm back. I did get a few things accomplished. Chick Bait, we do and will have a link coming to you. I was able to get that set up, so you'll be seeing that in just a minute. I did some of the news pulled up I wanted to get pulled up. Appreciate you staying with us through the break. I know nobody likes to look at commercials all the time. We appreciate you doing that. And we're trying to do new ones all the time. And yes, Southern Talk is coming this week. Sickness pushed everything back. I've been trying to find that spot, and I had some other things going on, but that's an important show. And again, we're going to put a Southern Talk. We're going to focus on North Carolina. It's all things Southern about a state, and we're going to talk about a lot of things about North Carolina, just different things. Could be tourists, could be politics, could be anything and everything. So that's going to be our focus first show, and then we'll dive into whatever we need to. So let me send this on to Chick Bait. You should have that. And good deal. So Tarman, you have appreciate y'all in there having. I like that. I was in a live the night, not on here. I was doing some work, and I was working kind of late. And one of the streams that we're in with not all of our programming because we don't pay for it, but it is we do a lot of the short things there. They love the vet, the funnies, which we got to get some of those back up, and the vet of the week and the pet of the week. I really love that vet, but they do some lives, and I get these notifications, and I think they follow me or I'll follow them. I got into this group, and woo boy, what a discussion! I would just say it was interesting. They were very kind to me, and they were just a little tougher on the language than a lot tougher than I am. And some of the discussion was a little risque, but they're good people, and some of them were working, and one guy, I think he was a truck driver or whatever, and they enjoyed being in there, but they treated me very nice. They welcomed me. I didn't want to come up on stage. They didn't ask me to, and I didn't ask to. But I did. Chick Baby coming here in just a second. I did listen to these folks, and they They were asking me a few things, and but they noticed me in there and said, "Shout out to the Southern Fried Podcast." And it gets attention. That logo really gets a lot of attention, and I can't thank Chris enough for all the hard work he done on that. Logos are, unless you're really gifted, and I've been out of the game a long time. There's a few things I can do as far as creativity on stuff, and a lot of the overlays and backlay, all that stuff I do. And I'm trying to get those better all the time, and we're going to upgrade that even more. Like I say, we've got different equipment coming in. We're going to upgrade. And again, we're only a few months old, so we're trying to get there. I don't know how long Chick Bait's had her channel on YouTube, but you got to grow, you got to build. But we knew early on, one of the things we said and I said it, we probably drove Chris to exhaustion and stressed him out, because there were so many things we wanted to do, but the logo was the holdup. And we tried to do some things, and it was not pretty. I mean, it was serviceable, really not, but we could have done it. But Chris kept tinkering, and the first iterations were like, "Oh, that's not what we want." Okay, don't worry, don't throw tomatoes at me. So he goes back and he tries some more, and he gets some stuff, and he comes back, and then one day he come with that. We knew we were close. First of all, we had him change the wording just a little bit, and then he at first didn't have the American flag. We do have the one with just the skillet and the cornbread and all that. But when he and I love those, and I use them on different streams. But when he brought that one with the American flag behind it and the yellow with the SFP jumping off the skillet and everything, that was it. That was the one, and we knew it. And we have had so many comments about that logo, and I can't thank Chris enough. But yeah, with Tarman, we're gonna jump in North Carolina, the state of North Carolina, and we're gonna pull Chick Bait up before we do that and talk to her a minute. But North Carolina is blowing up, and they're gonna do that. I'm gonna talk about that. Always look at what when there's a firestorm, look at who's blowing the flames and why. So they got a little something, and they're running with it, and they have absolutely no way to prove it. A lot of innuendo. We're going to talk about that. First of all, the legendary Chick Bait.
You had me at innuendo. Yes.
Innuendo.
Double talk or whatever George Orwell said, like back when we read books. But anyway, nice to be here.
Good to have you. Have you had a good Sunday?
Yeah, I have. I woke up this morning, prayed a lot, got my stuff together, did some house cleaning that I couldn't do yesterday because I was too depressed to do it, but God is good. And I just like to represent the other side of things. So I'm their token northerner,
No, I love it. And I have said from the beginning, and me and Rob, now sometimes with me and Rob, and you may not know when is each. Sometimes we truly are on opposite sides of an issue to a degree. Not sometimes that's totally on purpose.
Can I ask a question? Really serious?
Sure.
Who is Jebediah?
Jebediah. Where did you see that at? Oh, the email. That is an old game name. If you ever played online games, if you go back this goes back probably about 25 years ago. That's a character name from a game, Jebediah Thakawa. That's a mouthful. So he uses that. By the way,
Dave,
my name was Kiel.
Dave, okay. Hold on. You're lucky I responded to it because I'm like, who is that?
Oh, I didn't think about that when I did, because I was just we both used the same thing, and I didn't realize when I grabbed that. Well, I told you it was on the way, so I tried to soften the blow. But it was one where he was emailing, so I just grabbed it and threw it. So yeah, Jebediah. That's Rob. My screen name was Keel, Keel, which is an old band name, but our game was Middle Ages and medieval swords and all that good stuff, and it sounded like a good name. I was an archer. I was one with the wood.
Oh, my mother took archery. It was like the
really
she ever told me. The weirdest story she ever told me was like, did you know I did archery? And I'm like, uh, I was a teenager, and I'm like, are you trying to warn me about something?
I did it in school, but I have not done it in ages. But I do like the idea of the archers in these
Oh no, I
wars and stuff.
always wish I picked up on it, to be honest. But with you guys, like, you threw me for a loop. Like, you got me out of my depression. Like, I am like,
Well, that's good. We have to throw little things out there like that. So, like I was saying, we are sometimes we just take one side of an issue and run with it. And if you ever been in a debate class or
yeah,
did a, it's
I,
fun if you
I
want
tell
to
you
have fun with
about
it.
that.
You got to
I'll
be
tell you.
careful not to get mad because the best thing is to take the side that you don't believe in and
Oh
debate it.
no, that's exactly it. And I went into it completely wrong, and I ran out of the debate team crying into a bathroom because I was like, I'm doing this totally wrong. And I felt totally stupid. And then I realized growing up, later, like after high school, that no, I wasn't wrong. I just wasn't prepared.
Yeah, you have to prepare yourself because your job your job is not really to make the other side mad, but to get them off their game, to
Yeah,
stump them a little bit.
it's all a
And
game.
really, if you think about it, it's well, I'll put it this way. You'll love this.
No, I
So
will.
you may not have, you probably, I say may not, you would not have known this, but ages ago, and I'm not going to say I was the best at it, but I did a pretty good job. I got involved because of my love of history. I got involved in Civil War reenacting. So I did living histories with the group I was in. We did battles and stuff, and I loved it. It was great. Some days were hard, a lot going on, but we all said this as as units, you had to make sure you had enough Yankees. So
Mhm.
we're in the South. We're doing these battles in the South, unless it's a group that portrays, because there are groups down here who portray Union,
The
but
Civil
normally
War enactment.
there's a group that's African American, and they portray the unit that was in glory, and so they come to some events and stuff around, and there's others. But so to have enough numbers, you'll have 200 or 300 reenactors. They decide what you're going to be, what units are going to be Southern, and what units are going to be Yankee. It was always so much fun to play the Yankee
But I
for
mean,
two
like,
reasons.
even in the Revolutionary War had African Americans or
Sure.
blacks fighting on either
I,
side.
I wish more people knew that. Jewish people on both sides. Jewish
But
people are totally surprised that there were Jewish people that were in Confederate uniforms fighting. In fact, there's a great book that was written by a Jewish man from Atlanta, and he wrote a book, Jews in the Civil War. I think there's
but
actually two
Dave, why
volumes.
do you think I'm here? I'm a
I
history major.
Yeah, I used to do a
I
presentation on
love,
Jews in
I
the Civil
love,
War.
I love this information, and I love putting it out there because no matter what side of politics you're on, you need to remember the facts.
Sure. Always let your information go be factual. And then you can like the facts or you can not like the facts, but facts are facts. Know the truth and be factual.
Thank you.
And then, it is what it is. And what we find out is that, just like today, people hundreds of years ago were imperfect human beings. They did some great things, they did some bad things.
But just like us.
They were unlikely heroes that stood up. You would have never guessed. They were also cowards in the service. Some people
Just like
ran, just like us.
nothing's changed.
There's nothing changed. We've just, we're battling through sin, and
We've moved the goalpost a little bit, because we have TV, internet, and all this other stuff, and
yeah,
like it's all garbage to me, in my opinion.
it can be. It can be because um, if you allow, it's like the internet. You can allow the internet to be a very useful tool, or you can use it for bad things. And so you have to be, real careful of that. But doing Civil War reenacting, it was fun to play Yankees because one, the Yankees always had more than the Southerners. So we portrayed Confederate. We had to go really bare bones. With Yankees, it was fairly. There was a few times that they were caught without a whole lot, but most of the time you could have all you wanted in your camp and all that. So you could really.
Well, I mean,
And
like
then we would just play it up and say, We're mean Yankees, so let's be really mean and let's just, let's act the part. I'm
Okay,
kidding.
so Dave, in the early 90s, I made my parents take me on a road trip to Gettysburg.
Awesome.
Because every other year they would ask me and my brother, I only had one brother, okay, to flip flop, which way we're going on family vacation every summer. And one year I said Gettysburg, and I went there and I got me some pickup sticks.
Okay.
And I saw Abraham Lincoln in wax.
Yeah.
And I went to Gettysburg and it was so profound for me because I just sat on the ground and picked up little flowers, those weeds and stuff. I almost cried. I was 9 years old.
By the way, when you studied, and we got to get back into our politics, but this is political.
Yeah, no, definitely.
When you looked at, have you studied Abraham Lincoln?
Yes.
When you, my question is this, and I'm not going to ask you, I'm not trying to provoke an answer. I just want to see what you say.
It's not political for me.
Well, it's not even politics, but it's about factual. When you studied Abraham Lincoln, what jumped out at you that you were never told?
That he actually didn't want to free the slaves.
That's a big one. That's truth. He actually wanted to send them off into an island somewhere, Africa or something. He did not want
back to Africa. Is one thing.
Now I will say he did change, but his initial reaction
was he did initiate part of the war to reunite the Union. He didn't want the Confederacy.
Yeah, there was several parts to it. So
the first part was he wanted to send them back.
One of the things that I learned in studying about him is this lie that Hollywood has built that Abraham Lincoln talked like this 20 years ago.
No, 7 years ago.
Or whatever. He had a high pitched voice. He didn't have that deep voice.
It's all made up. That's Hollywood fiction.
That is Hollywood, and people think that he had this very deep voice. Read your original documents. He had a very high pitched voice. And in fact, at some of his debates, and he was a good debater, but you got to get the imagery. He's 6 foot, whatever. What was he, 6'4"? He had the big tall hat. He looked like a pencil or a toothpick. And he had this high pitched voice, and people actually came to see him to laugh at him.
5'4".
Yeah, but when you go back in history, you find out things that you like or you didn't like that you didn't know.
Well, I'm a historian. First and foremost, I'm a historian. So I've studied this extensively through my entire life, and I finally got my degree in it.
So you are a historian. Yes. I am an amateur historian. I would never call myself that. I just have a love of history because I don't have a degree in it. I just love to read. I love to study it. So as I've read, sometimes the narrative that people have told me about certain people in history, I'm like, I don't see it that way now. But you believe what you want to believe. That's your right. But there are, look, I'm an open-minded guy, and I'm gonna say this.
I'm a realist.
We'll get back into. I got a few stories I got to get into, and then we can talk about whatever. But what I'll say is this: if I were to say characters that I liked on the Union side, Joshua Chamberlain, bar none, is at the top of the list. A godly man, an educated man, who rose to hero status, who was there at the surrender, was an amazing person. Phil Sheridan, I wouldn't give you 2 cents for. He was a monster. And they have things named Sheridan this and Sheridan that all over the North. Phil Sheridan was not a nice guy. I didn't care for him. I will say this, although I didn't agree with a lot of things he did. Ulysses S. Grant, he did give the olive branch of stuff at the surrender that he didn't have to do, and he let them, and he was a soldier's leader. He was a soldier's guy. His uniform was dirty, wasn't, but they all went to point together. They all served in the Mexican War together. These guys knew each other, and he negotiated some very friendly terms. In fact, politicians in the North and some military leaders were not happy with him for that. I tip my hat to him. In fact, at his funeral, a Southern general was a friend of his and came and got sick at his funeral and died because it
Well, I mean,
rained
like,
and he got sick. But they were friendships. And so I think in that spirit of friendship, we can not like somebody. I was not a fan of Custer. I didn't like his flamboyancy. I didn't care for him. On the southern side, there's a lot of people that don't like, some of the leaders too for their bumbling and stuff. And Hood is one of them that a lot of people don't like. They think he destroyed the
well,
army of the
my
Tennessee.
one, I'm gonna like put it in a nutshell, but when you're looking back beyond the Civil War to the Revolutionary War, look at all these colonies, right? All the people that were trying to get away from Britain, right?
Yes.
And they got divided once they went over here. That's my point.
Well, yeah.
And
A lot of people in Georgia, they look back and they think, some Georgians were not honorable. There were many Georgians that ran. They were cowards in the war early on. They were cowards. They ran. They're not the only state that had that, but we had a lot of cowards in the service. So
no,
uh,
there were cowards on both sides, if you
they
ask me.
were. They absolutely were cowards. So
And
again, look back through that lens of history. We have to
but
realize, you can
I'm
zero
looking
in
at
and look at
a
things.
historical lens, Dave, from a historical lens. And the way I see it now, the more I studied it, like it was almost a no-win situation. Either we united our country or we did not unite the country.
Yeah, well, and we're able to do that. Sometimes the fighting was verbal and the states didn't agree on stuff just like they do today, and it was intense. It's a miracle we ever got the Constitution. Honestly,
No,
it was the
honestly,
divine hand of God.
it was a moment in time when, in the Revolutionary War era, like Boston Tea Party and stuff like that, here's what happened. It was like a lightning bolt. A lot of people jumped on it because they hated England.
Yeah, what would happen if that happened today to those people that throw tea over in the bay?
I don't know. I
Probably
honestly don't know.
locked up for a long, long time.
You threw me a
Different time.
curveball there, Dave.
Yeah, think on that. Chick Bait needs to visit Chickamauga Park. Well, one day if she's ever makes it down this way, we would be glad to be a guide. We would take her and show her things that, and there is a great tour. By the way, the historian at the Chickamauga battlefield, Mr. Ogden, is excellent. He's a Maryland guy, so he talks with a Maryland accent,
I'll be right back.
and
My cat.
and he and he
Yeah.
does lean a little bit Yankee. That's where he's from,
A little bit
but
Yankee.
he's good. Yeah, well, you don't sound like one though, but
Wait,
yeah,
I don't sound like one?
you don't sound like a Yankee to me.
What do I sound like?
I don't. It's the Ohio thing, I think.
Okay, yeah. That makes sense.
I haven't really narrowed it down. You don't have a pronounced accent to me, so maybe
Oh yeah, I went through speech therapy in kindergarten through grade 3. So they taught me to talk like a newscaster. Basically, I had to learn how to talk.
All right, a couple of news items I want to pop up. Don't be scared, Chick Bait. I'm gonna cover you up just for a second here. Both of us actually. I'm gonna throw
I
out
am not
something.
scared.
All right, this is from the Epic Times. House
Okay.
unanimously passes bill to strengthen Secret Service protection for presidential candidates. You see that at September 20th from the Epic Times.
Yeah.
The House passed this bill, and I agree with this. They need to do that. Vice President Kamala Harris and former President Trump will both be in key battleground states this weekend. Of course, she
Yeah.
was on Oprah. We might talk about that in a minute. Trump was seeking to win over Jewish voters in Washington,
Does
but
Oprah still have a show?
she does. Well, she has her own network, so she can do whenever she wants to. That is a good move. I agree with it. Why didn't they give RFK Jr. protection? He deserved it. By his numbers, he should have had it. Not now. He's not a candidate, but he should have had it. We got to protect these people that's running for the office of president. So
These are Dave, these are legacy people. Kennedy, the names, like they kind of need more protection because they're probably more targeted.
Could be, and I think just with the rhetoric that goes on and the hate that's out there in the world, we have to
That's
be
a good word,
careful of
rhetoric.
that. So here's an interesting headline I also pulled. It's not a lot of detail, but it's kind of interesting because Russia, Ukraine's kind of got our attention. The Middle East has kind of got our attention. The elections has got our attention. But this caught my eye. U.S. Navy to get 80% of force ready to fight China. That's also from the Epoch Times. U.S. Navy is preparing for a potential war with China in just 3 years. The goal that 80% of the U.S. fleet would be ready for battle in the face of rising detention risk for foreigners inside China. By the way, there are some Japanese that have been trapped in there. A lot of Japanese citizens are getting out because it's become risky for them. U.S. lawmakers are pushing for the highest possible travel advisory for the country. That's as some Americans have already spent years wrongfully held in Chinese prisons. The CCP is said to be use U.S. laws against Americans. House lawmakers are digging into how China weaponizes the rule of law. They need to look at that here. And the world's longest military alliance is ready for a new leader. The NATO Secretary General shares his outlook and lessons later in that article. But I thought it was interesting that they actually are saying 3 years that we're going to be at war with China. Really?
Yeah. So much of my history background comes from studying the military, if you haven't guessed that by now. From the Revolutionary War, or even before that, like ancient times, right? And I prefer to think of myself that way, as somebody who's like a global person who
Yeah.
tries to help everybody. My fiance is Chinese, so that's an irrelevant fact. But
Well, it's interesting. I mean, it's an interesting uh, point, insight, I would say.
yeah, no, and he has nothing to do with it because he's an American citizen. He was born here.
Oh, he still has an opinion. Does he have family there? Distant
No,
family?
no, his family fled during like the big thing that happened in the
Okay.
50s.
He says you have a Midwest slang. That's interesting.
I do.
But I could say that. That's probably about right because, like I said, you don't fit that. I mean, I can imagine what we sound like to you, but
Okay, but Dave, when I had my speech impediment going strong, people would tell me, "Are you from Minnesota?" And I'm like, "No, I just went to too much speech therapy."
in speech therapy, do you start sounding like your speech therapist?
Yeah, they're like,
Because you're hearing them say it.
no, because they're like THCHSH. They would break it down for you like you're an idiot, and I'm like, I get it, I get it, I get it. you know, I'm just so glad I found you guys.
Well, we're glad to have you. Like I say, you bring an insight like Tire Man or Toyota Man right now. He's going to be changing his name back to Tire Man. He has to wait a little while.
You know where I got my
Um,
degree from? Did I
we,
tell you?
I think you did, but I don't remember where. And
What
I have.
school? You have 3 guesses.
Oh man, Ohio State,
Close. No.
Purdue. I don't.
No. Third try.
Let's say Northwestern,
Harvard.
Harvard. Really,
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Interesting. Good for you.
Thank you.
I mean, I don't like a lot of things Harvard does, but to have a Harvard degree is an accomplishment.
Well, Ted
And
Cruz got one.
yeah, J.D. Vance has a Yale, I think it is, degree. Yale, Harvard, and the other one, Penn, was it? They all used to be colleges and we lost her. What happened, Chickbait? She'll be back. So anyway, they used to be universities that she's coming back. Where did you go? We lost you.
I know. I lost myself.
Uh, but they
But
they
anyway, no. No. I went there. I didn't go there after high school. I went there. Like a community college type program that they have there called Extension School.
yeah, they used to be colleges that put out men to preach the gospel. I mean, they were
Well,
Bible
yeah, that's
basically.
exactly. I took 2 classes there, Dave, and I studied Harvard at Harvard, and I learned about that.
Okay.
They were very much like communal, like conservative, Christians at the
Awesome.
beginning. They still
Yeah.
have a
Yeah. What's
school
happened?
with that. No, they still have a school chapter with that. Like it's not a joke.
No, I believe that. I just say what happened. I mean, overall, they've kind of lost their way.
Well, they also
Um,
partnered up with MIT and stuff. But I can look up what I'm talking about. The
Tar Man, you're not offending anyone here, so don't be giving disclaimers. You'll never message again if it offends. I'm getting to you in a minute
okay,
because
I got it. I got it,
I,
Dave.
I actually
Oh,
have an article.
Dave. It's called the Harvard Divinity School.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, yeah.
But good for
And
you for having that. I mean, I hope you're not saddled with a student debt that you'll have for the rest of your life. I hope
no,
you got a lot of.
I really am actually. So
Hey, I just sent my mine off a couple days ago. I pay mine every month too. So unfortunately, I don't have as much as a lot of people, but I do have quite a bit.
well,
It's thousands,
FAFSA helped
thousands.
me a lot. FAFSA. So
Tarman said he went through the school of hard knocks. Let me find this article, Tarman. I want to come to your post. I'm not ignoring it. I want
I
to.
feel like I'm outing myself as a Harvard grad
In what way?
in a bad way.
That because you have a grad, or they would kick you out of the club because you're talking to us. I mean, I just want to know where you're coming from with
You
that.
guys are keeping out of your club.
No, no, no. I'm proud of you. I mean, you went and got a degree, wherever that degree came from, as long as it's something that you can use to better yourself. The worst thing you can do is go to college, have all that money you owe, and then have a
Well,
useless
can I
degree,
tell
as
you
long as it will help you.
here's the before story. I went to Lorain County Community College in Ohio.
Okay.
College. I started there, and the transcripts translated like 15 plus years later.
All right. We got to hold that thought. Hold that thought because we got to get Tar Man up on his quote here on the screen, and I want to read this article because Tar Man, it's true. There will be a lot of violence if he wins. So here's his quote. If they cheat and try to disqualify President Trump from taking office in January, 1775 will be a walk in the park because the country will be in distress. We're a powder keg right now for many different sides.
Yeah,
And yes, I firmly believe they will be, not only that they would try to disqualify him or even cheat, just the fact if he won straight up in an honest election, I don't even know what that is anymore because everybody says all elections are cheats and all these states. But whatever, both sides are going to say cheat anyway. That's going to happen. That's a given. Let's just say he wins, and there is no cheat, and he's won. There's still going to be battles. There's still going to be a fight.
It's called optics. I'm going to be right back. I'm going to use the bathroom. Come right back.
Okay. But yeah, but I want to touch on this article here because this comes from the AP. I think it was his AP. No, this is the Independent. I'm sorry. Let me make sure I'm saying this correctly. The Independent. They're already throwing it out there, and you could probably see that headline if Trump wins. They're already throwing it out there. Leading pollster warns Americans should make contingency plans ahead of possible Trump win. Notice they said possible. It's still a toss-up. This is Nate Silver. This article is by Josh Marcus, but Nate Silver, he's a pollster. He said this. Prominent election forecaster Nate Silver says Americans should be making contingency plans for the prospect of a Trump victory as the presidential race remains a toss-up. One potential advantage of having a forecast that says it's 50-50 is that people should be making their contingency plans like right away. It doesn't mean that you need to stockpile ammo and peanut butter, but it means what's your strategy to protect American institutions of a Trump second term. See, what he's saying is because he wins, it would automatically mean the end of everything good. I mean, that's what he's saying here. But what is that? What is the undercurrent of that messaging? He's even saying, or even in 2028 or 2032, a Trump-like Republican who maybe is more effective than Trump. If I were a liberal donor, for example, I would want to begin funding now to protect institutions in that eventuality instead of giving another 100,000 to Kamala Harris, who has more money than she needs. He's correct in that. So
Well, that goes.
he has predicted the last, and I don't care what he's predicted, 8, 12, 20, and 24, his model, he has her with a modest lead, and the probability of winning the swing state of Michigan, a 63%, a 57% of Pennsylvania. By the way, that's so close. He just throw numbers there.
All right, Dave.
But what is he really saying? He is saying if he wins, just the fact that he's won, not the chaos of the people, the chaos of the administration going to destroy everything. But I think that kind of rhetoric is also will draw people to get mad and say, well, we got to do something.
I'm going to say one thing. I have a brilliant invention in part of this broadcast is that I am a liberal. Okay. So Trump is saying something factual in part of that. But
that wasn't Trump. That wasn't Trump. That's a pollster. Sorry.
But Kamala does not have the money that Trump says she does. I can guarantee it. I've worked with social warrior people, like whatever you call them. I don't know. I'm not a political person.
Well, okay. That's fine.
I'm friends with many people.
Well, did she not have access to all of Biden's money that he got in the campaign? She was the only one that had access to that.
Biden has no money.
He has $400 million, I thought.
No, that's not tied up into the election campaign. I've been studying this, and I'm here to tell you the other side.
Well, that's fine. Whatever money she has, it's enough that every commercial I turn on seems to have Kamala.
No, it's because
Trump has some too, but those could be PACs doing that. Those could be PACs.
Tell you why. It's all these PACs and super money people coming after them, whatever, you name them. I won't name them. But they support her. She's not herself.
Well, but they have access to campaign monies, though, that the Democrat National Committee gives or the Republican National Committee has for him. Yes, the PACs can gather as much money as they want. They don't personally have access to that money, but that money is used on their behalf. So
but Dave,
definitely strategy sessions are going on.
Dave, I'm on Truth Social. I won't deny that. I'm everywhere you want to be.
Well, you should be if you're going to have a channel. Do you have your channel there or just you yourself?
No, it's actually under an alias. But
okay, that's fine.
The name and
are you secretly going to Truth Social to see what people are saying?
Yeah,
that's cool. Hey, it's always. Well, I was telling Tarman I slipped into this. What was it hiding? I mean, they could see my logo, but I just wanted to see what somebody said. I didn't want to talk. I just wanted to listen to them. So it's fun to do those things. It's fun to do those things. That's like being in the comments of your channel.
But I'm not there to troll.
I know. I'm just giving you a hard time.
I know. Thank you. I appreciate that.
I have went into liberal circles and listened and read some things and listened. I'm just curious.
And that's how we branch the circles and the olive branch.
Yeah, I may or may not agree with anything they say. I usually will agree with something, honestly. I find common ground.
I'm just here for human rights, better economy, much better economy, by the way. And I think those are 2 points that we can all agree on.
Well, and I have said that in this, and I want to get to another story or two because I really want to go to North Carolina, and we're going to do that.
Am I holding up Robert's fort yet, or no?
Do what?
Am I holding up Robert's fort yet, or no?
Yeah, you're holding up. You're holding up.
I'll be right back.
You're fine.
My cat screwed something up. I'll be right back.
Take care of the cat.
I do have to.
Yes. All right. Let's see here. Because that's my North Carolina stuff. Let me see here. I thought I had one more. Maybe not. Maybe not. Let me see if it's. I may have already loaded it up. But we're going to talk about North Carolina when she gets back. We're going to talk about North Carolina because I think and Pennsylvania. And I probably do Pennsylvania more next week, but I do want to look. Hey, how pretty is the cat? Which one is this, Steve or Chad?
Steve.
Which one, Steve?
Steve.
Okay, Steve. Well, hello, Steve.
Hello.
I love the coloring.
I know, right? Isn't
It's
he beautiful?
beautiful. Absolutely. How old is Steve?
He's about 2 years old, but he's like the runt of the litter. So his brother is like much bigger and harder to catch. But also, he's much harder to catch because he's smaller and faster. But I've kept him healthy and safe.
Yeah, Tarman, that could happen if depending on who wins. I mean, who's at the helm of the Department of Justice.
I'll let you go so you don't get mad at me.
The cabinet members that are put in place will have a lot to say with that. Let's see what else he has to say here. Everyone better have supplies. They'll be looting if Trump wins. People in cities better have enough ammo. Well, I think listen, this just on a very human level, it is wise to have supplies anyway. We need to have medications for a minimum of 3 months if we take a daily medicine of any kind, because we're already dealing with shortages. Problems in the country, chaos could disrupt that even further. We should have I mean, I know that I'm not there. We should have 3 months of financing to cover our bills for 3 months. This is every financial part, at least 3 months. Most will say 6 months at least, but you should have 3 months. And I know that's hard for most people; they can't do it. You should have. And by the way, that needs to be diversified. Something you can get a hold of besides cash, because banks could be shut down. Um, Anything can be shut down. So, but certainly have some cash on hand, because you might not be able to access your card. Chaos could cause that. That's important to have. It wouldn't be a bad idea to have some extra fuel around. Put it in your building or something. Protected and cool.
Well,
Uh,
can I
Extra
read
water.
the
Go ahead.
situation?
Yeah,
Everything, can you keep that quote up?
yeah, I can do that right
Okay.
there.
Everything better have supplies because if Kamala wins, we'll
I,
be
I
the situation.
well, I don't know that it'd be looting in that case. I think it would just be uh, rioting in the streets, which could lead to looting. The looting can happen because anytime you get a group together, you're
Well,
going to
you
have that
saw
no matter what.
Minneapolis, in the last.
But what I'm worried about is just the overall, the damage, the chaos. Can people get to work? Can ship, can our goods and services be done? I mean,
You need
cities are in trouble anyway. Cities are already in trouble. I don't live in a city. I live near one that's a
Dave, I
decent
don't
size.
like to get political, but here's the basic needs that we need: jobs,
I agree with you. Check.
childcare,
Check. There's a problem, a shortage of childcare, affordable childcare. We agree.
lower taxes. That's it.
Check. We need that. That'll spur
Those are three
jobs, and
that we can agree on, right?
we can agree on. Absolutely, we can agree on that. Um, so yeah, we can absolutely agree on that. So
I appreciate that.
I'm laughing. I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing at Tar Man. This may or may not be endorsed by the Southern Fried Podcast, but
No, I am not endorsed.
I love. No, I'm talking about his quote.
Anyway, Dave, I am your token liberal friend.
No, that's good.
And I know that. I understand that, but I care about you. I care about you and Dave. You and Robert, and
Well, we care about you. And by the way, you do talk politics on your own channel, so it's fine. We do. Listen, this is the area.
And I know you've seen it, but
I've seen it. You talk politics. I'm still your friend, right?
yes,
Okay, we're good.
I love it.
We're good. That's your channel. Yeah, I love. Yeah, that's your channel. So well, however, my granddaughter does them to me all the time. I don't know how to do my hands like that. I'm probably,
Yeah.
but yeah, what y'all don't see. By the way, it's so funny. I wish sometimes if I have funny, Robert, sometimes he thinks that I'm responding to something he has said, and he'll say something like, "What, you don't like that?" and he has no clue. I may be looking at a ball game, like I've got one over here, and it's really top ball game in the third quarter right now between my Atlanta Falcons and KC. KC's winning by 2. I ain't been watching, but most of the time, my funny looks are my granddaughter sitting there dancing, making faces at me, telling me she loves me.
Redneck. I grew up a redneck. You can't get rid of that.
Well, we're everywhere.
I know. Wherever we want to be. What's that commercial called?
Actually, I have never called myself that. I'm joking. I've never called myself that. I don't. I call myself a conservative, a Christian conservative.
Well, I told you early on, right? I am a conservative liberal.
That just means you're more towards the center. By the way, we understand that down here because most Democrats in the South were conservative Democrats. The party left them, and they're disenfranchised.
Yep.
The Southern Blue Dog Democrat was not radical.
Nope.
We disagreed on some things, but we didn't have the arguments like we have today.
The parties basically switched a long time ago.
You know, it might shock you to know that I never claimed to be a Republican until the last few years. I always classified myself as
it doesn't shock me to know that.
I classified myself as an independent and said, both of you need to come after my vote, because I had problems with the Republican Party. They've gotten a lot better, but I was so disgusted during the 80s and into the 90s with the Republican Party. When people ask me, I'd say, "Oh, you sound like a typical Republican." I'd say, "I'm an independent."
No, but I'm myself. I'm not a MAGA.
You're not a MAGA. Okay, that's fine. No. Well, that is a whole discussion we can have on another show or another Sunday night, because I've got to get to North Carolina. But
no, let's get to North Carolina.
I have thoughts on that. I'm
going to learn about North Carolina right now to broaden my perspective on that state. So it's your turn. It's your show.
Well, I'm not really going to dive into the whole state, but I do want to cover two things, and I also want to cover one that's national to be looking for in the next week, because it's already 10:30, and so I don't know how long I'm going, but we usually end by 11. So I want to get this in. First of all, in the state of North Carolina, we know that the race for governor is they're blowing this up. They're pouring gasoline on this story about Mark Robinson. Now, Mark Robinson has asked him to resign or step down. Many said he should, but he had to do it by Thursday night. He says, "I'm not stepping down," and I didn't say those things. Now, they don't like things that he says where he talks about his feelings about abortion and different things like that. But Mark Robinson has, and for some reason, this is not wanting to open for me, but Mark Robinson has said some things that they don't like. They claim he has said some things on a porn site a long time ago, but they have not offered proof that I know of. But this is interesting because it is a firestorm, and it is growing, and flames are being fed. And North Carolina is an important state. It has 15 or 17 electoral votes. Former President Trump was just there doing a rally, and Robinson was not invited, and he was not at the event. So they're trying to stay away from that. They're putting the 10-foot pole, so to speak, out there, and they're staying away from it because it is so hot. Also, J.D. Vance says that the court of public opinion needs to rule here. I could take that different ways. What it tells me is
J.D. Vance is somebody I know about.
Okay. But I think that what they're saying is that, because President Trump endorsed Robinson, he hasn't unendorsed him, but I think right now he's swimming on his own. I don't think publicly they're going to touch his campaign with a 10-foot pole. And I doubt you'll see him at another Trump rally unless this thing gets cleared up really fast. This may damage him to the point he can't win that. That North Carolina. Who knows? The voters will say.
The next debate is scheduled for October 23rd, I think.
Which is the vice president's.
And then November 5th is the election day.
By the way, thanks for bringing that up, Chickbait. Perfect timing, because I'm still in North Carolina, but I want to say this about this. Here's my belief, and I'm not a big believer in debates. But I put some thought in this today, and I wanted to say this. I think I think that this debate is going to be much better than the presidential candidates debate. And I think this debate possibly could sink or swim either side.
Mhm.
These men, it's going to be interesting to see what they have to say for different reasons. Waltz has he's had some missteps. JD Vance, they've really tried to get a, you're the country bumpkin and all this. He's really a self-made man who's rose up from Appalachia.
But no,
But his
Appalachia
part
hates him, by the way. I've asked Appalachia. They do
but
not like Apple. They do not think that JD Vance is Appalachia.
well, but he did come from a poor beginning. But what I
But
wanted to say about that is not really that point.
Appalachia.
JD Vance is on point now, and he has an opportunity because honestly, this debate is not about 2024. It is, but it's not. Let me explain that. It is about 2024 because these two are running with but people don't vote for vice presidents for president. That has nothing to do with 2024.
No.
Other than do they slip up and make a mistake that makes the presidential candidates look bad? My point is that both these people could be in the next running. And so to me, it's a preview of 2028.
Give me 1 second. I'll be right back to explain.
1 second is up, chick bait.
No, I get one more.
Tarman, what do you say here? Rednecks are everywhere.
Okay, so, JD Vance brought his mom on stage.
Yes.
Or sort of. When Trump announced JD Vance, I knew it. I called it.
That he was going to select him?
I'm chick bait. I'm Juliet. I called it.
Okay. You called it. Good for you. All right.
Yeah. And I was like, yes, this is exactly what's. I watched Hillbilly Elegy. I didn't read the book, but I watched it.
Yeah, I've not seen that or the book, although I do want to explore that. I just haven't had the time yet.
Vance wrote it, so we have to support him.
So I'd like to see that. I do, yes, Tarman, that is true. Definition: someone working in the sun, their neck gets sunburned. But in a greater allegory, that is not what that means nowadays. I get it.
Fun of anybody who's a redneck because I grew up on a farm. Okay, relax, guys.
Well, we're just talking about the term redneck, not really you, but
no, I know the term can be kind of ugly. I get it, and I'm sorry.
Was it a typical farm? Like, did you feed the chickens and slop the hogs and stuff, or what kind of farm was it?
No, it was a decrepit farm where my dad let it go to rot, and he lost everything. And it was
wow!
So all I had was remnants of the farm, like where the horses used to be, where the farm used to be.
Sounds like the South after the Civil War. Honestly, I'm not being facetious here. That's what it.
No, I know. It was
South it was decrepit, war torn. I mean,
it was
especially Virginia, South Carolina, Georgia.
I was born in 1981. All that was left was like a few gardens. There was a field that they tore apart. Like everything got like shut down. It was really depressing. Like my family lost everything. Like I understand how this feels.
I'm sorry to hear that. But here you are, a great success, doing great things. You're killing it. You're killing it as a young lady, mom, YouTube powerhouse, true crime, cat lover. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, my fat one came out. Can I go get him?
Sure. Right. Yeah. You're a guest. You can do that. Well, I got one more thing I want to go in, and we're just going to talk about whatever as we end tonight. Appreciate y'all hanging with us, whoever's here.
Dad's about to show up. Get him camera ready.
I mean, people love cat. Is that the same cat? Or a different cat? They look alike.
Yeah, but he had a
little different. Yeah, I see that. That's what. Okay, you're right. Yeah, it's a little different. Well, they're healthy. You take good care of them.
Yes, I do.
Who's your favorite?
I don't have a favorite.
I just throw that out there. I was going to see if I could get you to say one. I really didn't want you to. You got to love them. Yeah. By the way, Coco, Kaylee's dog, it came out of an abusive home. The mother, sister, and her, and so tonight she was licking my hand and everything. But if I make a sudden movement, that dog will. It is so skittish, It's going to take a long time to get this dog back.
The first cat I brought out is the skittish one, Steve. Chad's name was Cletus, remember? I call him Chad because he acts like a Chad.
I like the name Cletus though. I think for me,
I still call him Cletus.
I think I'm gonna have to say Cletus.
Yeah.
Way to go, Tar Man! Claim it, baby. Proud redneck.
Dave, a true story. I found a true crime channel today, and their names were Steven and Cletus, and I'm like,
"Ooh, that's weird."
Moment.
What a coincidence!
Like, my cats are named Cletus and Steve.
All right, let me cover one more quick thing, then I want to talk to you about your channel, about true crime, and whatever we want to talk about.
Yeah.
Okay, and you can be included in this. I'm just bringing it up. What do you see as the issues of this week for both sides? That it's going to be pumped in the press. What are the issues that each side is going to have? Not as much on the liberal side because the media is going to shield, but there are some hard. I got to give some news organizations are doing a good job.
I'm going to frame this, okay, Dave?
Frame it. I love it. Frame
it. The liberal side, if you saw Kamala's commercials or whatever, she's like all over the place with this. Look, I'm human rights, women's rights. Abortion's a complicated issue.
It is.
I don't want government making decisions on things that they're not educated with. Leave it alone. Trump, I don't hate the guy, okay? I'm just saying that he's playing the same game Kamala's playing.
Well, that's the political two-step. I have said on this show, and I'll say it again, I think Trump would love to just ignore the whole abortion talk.
I would love to talk to him about that, but
he doesn't have a solid position that he's comfortable with. I'm not saying he doesn't have a position. I'm saying he doesn't have a solid position.
That's a controversial topic.
No, I'm not trying to go down that. What I'm saying is this is just what's going to be hitting this week. And you're right. You did good. Give yourself a hand because abortion is going to be the driver this week and probably all the way through the election, whether we want to talk about it or not. We're not talking about the right, the wrong, the ins and outs. They're going to use that as a sledgehammer this week on the Republicans because they're scoring points. They've gained some points out of that, some votes. So yes, so that's one that is going to hit Trump this week. He's got to deal with it. Two, I've already mentioned Mark Robinson and Lieutenant Governor of North Carolina. They're going to hammer that.
Security and the border.
Where's that been? It's not even being talked about now.
Exactly. Why?
Well, because they know they lose on that. But where is Kamala's challenges this week? We're in this week. This is the first day of the week.
Nothing on Kamala on this. I have seen nothing.
I absolutely do because she is supposed to be.
Can I declare myself, Dave, your resident liberal?
Sure. We need that.
Whoa.
We need that.
I have seen nothing on that.
She is supposed to be releasing her economic plan, and that's going to get picked apart like chickens on the bone. So,
you know how those mainstream media people, the late night people, Jimmy, they're all named Jimmy. I don't know.
Fallon.
But, but you know how they make fun of like Republicans and.
Oh yeah, sure.
I'll go on your show and be the resident liberal.
Well, you're here, so you are the resident liberal. So this just shows that conservatives and liberals can get along. Yes. We can appreciate each other, love each other, and be respectful to each other.
Because we love God and we love
and be friends.
Yeah. No.
So here's my point that I want to end with. We're just going to talk. I want to talk to you about true crime and stuff. Since you're here, this is a SFP news desk special. We're going to talk about true crime for a minute, but not in depth. But I want to ask you a few questions. Okay. So I have said this for a long time, and I'm not the only one that said it. I didn't bring it up, but me and another friend who has been on the channel. He's a friend. He said this a long time ago. The problem, the people we're fools. Let me explain that. We're fools. We allow the rich and elite, the people in power, to turn us against each other.
You're making me laugh too hard.
Well, I like your laugh. but they're turning us against each other, and we're letting it happen, and we're the fools for allowing it.
We
Now
are.
that may not be me individually or you individually. I'm saying in a generic term.
I don't feel bad.
When we turn against the other side of a it's not us, it's not me and you, it's not you're them and I'm us. So
Cats.
the cats are climbing.
Yep.
Well, you got that's what cats do. You need a tree. You need a climbing tree for them. So maybe they won't climb the wall there.
Shows you the
So
easy.
we cannot allow it. We just on an issue. We just have to agree to disagree. We can be respectful, listen to each
I'm
other's position, but we should not let powerful people turn us against each other, and that's what's happening in America.
exactly, and
Absolutely.
that's exactly why I think God brought me here.
By the way, I have no enemies. I love everybody.
You have
That's
no enemies? Are you
I have
sure?
no enemy. Oh, I have enemies, but they've made themselves the enemy. I have no enemies because I don't
No,
view
but I mean,
anybody
like,
as my
I
enemy.
showed up out of nowhere, and I've been talking to you guys for a while, and I feel really honored that and grateful, honestly, like really humbled that somebody like people that don't know me, strangers, care about me.
Well, we're as Christians, we're to love everybody and care about people, and that's a great quote there, Tar Man. I love it. Yeah,
Look,
but
I'm not Soros.
by the way, that's a great quote too, and I'm going to put it up there because I can tell you, Trump is. I'm tired. They're tired of it, and they know that
Well, no,
because
no, that
they're
didn't.
going to keep pumping that.
Can I speak my mind on the issue for 1 second?
Well, yeah, you're here. I would say you can't come
It
up.
never had to come up if they didn't stack the Supreme Court and make that an issue. They made it an issue politically. That was something the Republicans did, in my opinion. The Democrats were too inept and stupid to stop it.
Okay, and there are those who are, they saw it coming. They didn't like it. I was not a fan of, Roe v. Wade. Most people don't even understand really what it was. When we're not diving into the issue of abortion, I'm just saying that I think
Abortion all night.
I do think that there's a lot.
There's
You'll never unify the nation on abortion. You'll never
no.
unify the nation. Never.
It is a stumbling block. It's a red herring. It's a straw man argument. Like we need to let that go and talk about the more important things like economy, our jobs, being paid, unions.
You're absolutely correct.
Absolutely matters, and this other stuff doesn't matter. They just use that to make people angry.
And guess what's going to happen?
Trump's going to win.
No, they're going to talk about it. They're going to make that the issue because that it hides, it screens the other issues, border, economy, all those things.
It does screen the other issues. It's too divisive.
They're still there, but they're throwing up a huge screen and blinking lights and going, "Look at this." So,
and I'm kind of sick about it, because
read this one.
I have a son and a daughter, and if my daughter got hurt in any way that would make her in that way, I would support an abortion.
I understand.
Major.
However, and where does Ohio stand on that? I'm not up to date on Ohio.
They tried to pass a 6-week ban. As far as I think they reversed it now. I'm not sure actually, but I think they put it back to like 21 weeks or something. But it also doesn't matter to me because the most important abortion issues are miscarriages and women losing their babies. And when you have an abortion ban after whatever amount of weeks, they can't get the health care that they need. And that comes after a voluntary abortion. Does that make sense?
Well, if you look at the paperwork from the hospital, if you look at how that's worded, there's a lot there. There's probably some tweaking that needs to be done to that.
Yeah.
Because of that,
they should probably consult some doctors.
But I understand that because I've known. Anyway, we'll dive into that a little later.
there? Can we leave it there? Table it.
Yeah, we'll leave it there. Thanks for sharing your opinion. And
Thank you.
guess what? On the Southern Fried Podcast, you got to share your opinion. I think that's good. I think that's what we're here for. Um, true
Thank
crime.
True crime.
True
Yeah.
crime. Just a couple of quick things. First of all, how did you get into true crime, or why did you get into it, and why did you decide to start a channel about true crime? By the way, your channel is called what?
Chick bait.
It's just called Chickbait, all one word.
No,
CHICBATE. Chickbait.
CHIC space BATE.
Oh, there is a space on the for the channel.
Yeah.
Okay.
So my cats are still climbing up the walls. Seriously, they've gotten worse.
What are they after? Is there food up there somewhere that they think is food, or there's something? Is there a rutabaga hanging off the ceiling that they
Yes,
see?
there's a rutabaga in the wall, and they're like going after it. You know how it goes? These cats are trained.
So why did you get into true crime?
Look at them. Look at them. One day they'll get into the wall. Okay, what got me into true crime? Okay, so want the long story short or the short story long?
Make it short because we'd probably not be on too much longer. We'll have to dive in. I just want the quick answer.
The child, blah 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 blah. Anyway, there was a child kidnapped in my area in Ohio in 1990, 89. I don't know. Anyway, and then she got, unalived. And I was like horrified because it was so close to me. And then I got hooked on disaster stories. Does that make sense?
Yeah, you mentioned that.
It made me feel better. Like maybe my life is not so bad if I hear about disaster stories. Then I got hooked on the Titanic, and 9/11 didn't help. But you know what I mean? Like I've been trying to process trauma in my head ever since because of the CPTSD. I've gone to therapy. I'm getting help for it. It's all working out.
Amen. So what made you go from being interested in to then doing a channel? Just you thought you had something to share, or you wanted?
I got so frustrated. It began with the Gabby Petito case.
Okay.
I never.
A lot of people did. That was a big one.
But I never posted a video about it.
Interesting.
I was going through a funk with my fiance, and he's like, "Did you hear about the missing girl?" And I'm like, "No." But I followed all these channels, and I'm like, I can do this too. And when the Idaho 4 happened, that's when I jumped on the true crime.
Okay.
Sebastian Rogers in Tennessee. I wanted to do Summer Wells, but I couldn't do it because it hit too close to home. Like from my past.
Yeah, I understand. How long have you had your channel?
I've had it for a few years, but I never used it for anything.
Okay.
I think I started it in the midsummer or something. I don't know.
Okay. Well, we started at Memorial Day, so that was the first video we made was on Memorial Day. We were talking and getting things. We were planning before that, but that was the first actual video we did. It was a short video.
Oh, yeah, that's what you told me, and I was like, okay, cool. I mean, like, we're kind of in the same boat in some ways. We're trying to reach an audience.
Tarman, you're right. You hang out rutabaga around your neck, you'll find your woman. It draws them in. So,
anyway.
So do you do it by yourself, or do you have help, or that's all you?
It's all me.
Well, you've done good. That's not easy.
No.
That's not easy.
No. Thank you.
So your channel is just on YouTube, or do you have it on other streams as well?
I was doing Spotify at first, but I took it off because I suffer from major depression since I was 12 years old. I've issues my entire life, so I take breaks for my mental.
Sure, I
can't post that often. I just can't.
Yeah. So you had on your and I watched the video. I think it's the last one you did. Was the one I don't know if you saw. I commented into it.
Yeah, you did.
But you had. I think I saw this on other channels, but it has it where you could like get you a cup of coffee. I thought that was cute. Like, what is that? Is it you get?
There was my Venmo, my Cash App is up there. My coffee, I don't know.
No, is it? Is anybody? Have you had some folks get you some coffee?
Sometimes, but
Sometimes.
sometimes.
So does that like give you just the money for the cup of coffee, or does it go to a particular place,
I
or
am
what?
not going to get paid for this at all. No.
No, no. I mean, how do you get the cup of coffee? Because it says a cup of coffee. That's what I'm curious about.
Oh, because sometimes I put the QR code up.
Yeah, that's
And
what I'm
then,
talking about.
yeah, but sometimes I don't
But
because I
what is?
don't.
But how does it work? That's what I want to know. If I
Oh,
did that,
yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah. If you put the QR code up, they can scan it on their phone like
I got
this.
it. I got it. And where does what happens then? Where do you get that cup
Or
of
they
coffee?
put money into your coffee.
Like, is
And
it go to? Does it is it go to account or does it
are
actually?
you asking for advice?
No, I'm going to buy you a cup of coffee. I'm trying to help you out here, girl. So I'm just curious. Does
Okay,
it
okay.
go?
All right, all right. Yeah, you scan the QR code.
I got that. I'm good. I've done. I did one of those tonight. I scanned the QR code. So actually, I
Yeah,
did that to get the password for Yahoo up on screen so I could send you the invite.
don't make me
So
cry.
how I have to how, but when I do that, is it going to a particular coffee place or does it just give you the
No,
money
it
and you
goes
go buy
to
coffee? I want to know
definitely.
if you're actually going to buy the cup of coffee because I want to buy you a cup
No,
of
it's
coffee.
not a coffee. It's just an app that pays you.
Okay, so if I do that though, will you buy a cup of coffee?
No, I just get
You
the money.
you won't get a cup of coffee.
I have coffee in my kitchen.
Oh man, I was going to buy you a cup of coffee.
Okay, buy me a cup of coffee. There's a Starbucks over there.
I get it. I understand, but I thought you would be down at some
Okay, it's like
coffee shop getting a latte or something.
okay,
I don't know.
Dave, let me level with you. You've heard of GoFundMe, right?
Sure.
Okay, so buy me a cup of coffee is like a smaller level.
So that's the $3 to $5
Yes.
offering.
Yes.
Okay. But if I put in there, I want you to go buy a cup of coffee. Will you buy the cup of coffee?
I will, and I will show you it.
But okay, we're making progress now. All right, this is great. I love it. You're getting me
I
fired
will
up.
actually buy a cup of coffee if you
I
buy me
want,
a
I want video, but first we got.
No, I will come on the show again with my coffee.
This is your challenge. So because I do have one disclaimer, I don't care what you do. So where would you go? Not at home, but where would you go buy that cup of coffee? I'll send a few more bucks than the coffee.
Okay,
I, I
I told you, Dave. I live in a mall. Remember the wine festival? Oh, I never
okay.
showed you the glass I got. Oh my gosh, hold on.
All right.
Let me show you. Be right back.
Oh, my old man brain and her, where she come from, we couldn't quite get there. We couldn't quite sync up. I'm trying to understand because I thought that's what it was, but I wanted to ask. I was curious. You know,
Oh no, for
that's how
real.
you learn.
For
Well,
real. Okay, so I went outside.
it's a pretty glass.
I got me a free glass because somebody abandoned it.
Ah, what does that say on it?
Market District is a local
Market
market,
district. Okay.
and this is where I live.
I wouldn't.
Basically,
I wouldn't share too much about
I'm
that.
not going to share too much details.
Yeah, crazies are out there, so protect yourself. But
Anyway, I went downside. I went down upside.
down upside, I like that.
I went whatever.
Down
Anyway,
outside or inside. Was it inside or outside mall?
it was outside.
Okay.
I told my friend who was here, I was like, I'm going to find a free glass. And he's like, I don't believe you.
But you
Right?
did.
But I did.
So
And
what place would you go to get the coffee? Is there a particular place that you would go at the mall?
I would go to Starbucks.
Oh man, you just killed it. You killed it. I spent all this time, this rigmarole of going through this for trying to help you out, and I'm going to work it out. But that was my one disclaimer: you can't go to Starbucks.
Okay, I have a
You
theory.
can't.
I have a theory.
Do you have a second location?
Chick-fil-A.
Okay, we're on board. You're probably wondering, why is this crazy guy fired up about me not going to Starbucks? I have an answer.
I do want to hear this now.
Because the founders
Pardon
of
me, I have to laugh a little bit.
the the founder of Starbucks said he didn't want my business. So
Okay, then I don't like.
I'm not sending him any. So
Okay, but
that's the other thing I want you to promise me, you won't buy it at Starbucks.
I will not buy Starbucks if you hear me out.
Okay, I'm listening.
There are 4 Starbucks within a mile radius of me. And it's really tempting.
It's tempting.
Yeah, but I won't do it. If it's your money, I will spend it somewhere else.
If I give it to you, it's your money. I'm just putting a challenge out here. So is there another place that you could go that has a good cup of coffee?
Get it somewhere else. I will get it somewhere else and show you that I got somewhere else.
Okay, and is it good coffee? The other place you'll get it, because I want it to be a good cup of coffee.
There are other places.
And about how much would that cup of coffee cost? Is that like a $3, $5, $7? How much? Huh?
The same as Starbucks. I don't know.
Well, what did you say? I didn't hear what you said.
$5. I don't know.
$5, $10. Okay, all right.
We're
gonna get. Yeah, Starbucks said they didn't want my business, so I'm not sending them any.
Anyway, I'm gonna boycott Starbucks for Dave.
No, I'm not asking you to do that. I have taken my granddaughter through there so she can get the little pooch.
My daughter likes the cake pops.
She gets that whatever they call that thing. They get the little cream or whatever, the dog.
My daughter likes the cake pops.
Maybe that's what she gets. Is that what the same thing we're talking about?
It's a piece of cake on a stick.
No, that's not it. It's something. I think this is in a cup. But anyway,
well, you know what I mean.
That's the only time I've been there.
It's
I'm not hard.
Them because
I'm just having fun with you. I'm not a hardcore about it, but I will be honest. I'm not stepping foot in another Starbucks as long as that dude tells me he doesn't want my business.
Okay, so Dave, I'm going to make a special video.
Okay, I want to see it. Because you know what? If you will make this video, Chick Babe, we're going to air that on our channel.
Ohio enters.
You put it on your channel as a special true crime. Listen, these crazy guys in the South. This is my experience
true crime
with rednecks from the South. And I want you to go make a little video, and we'll post that thing up.
Yeah,
but
sure.
you got to say something like you can say.
No, I will tag you in my.
The Southern Fried Podcast has bought me a cup of coffee, and here's me getting that cup of coffee or something like that. That's your challenge. However you do it. You know what? You can go to Starbucks. I'm just giving you a hard time. I'm having fun.
I know. I get
it. Like Tarman says, I have never and never will pay over $2. Well, you ain't get there. It's hard to find them, but you can.
Coffee, so I can buy my friend a chicken sandwich at Chick-fil-A. Come on. If we're all going to Chick-fil-A tomorrow, which is right down there.
If you'll support Chick-fil-A, I guarantee it'll be enough for the sandwich and the cup of coffee.
Yes.
So, did you say friend? Is the cat the friend, or is there another friend there?
No, he's not here right now.
Oh, he's not here, right? Well, you're pointing like he's there. You have me worried.
I don't mean like boyfriends and girlfriends. I mean like I have friends who are boys. I have friends who are girls.
Well, sure. But I thought maybe you were talking about cryptids. Maybe there's a cryptid came in the room and you were going, my friend over here. Bigfoot, Sasquatch.
Is Elon Musk in the room?
No, if he was, he would be killing my algorithm in X. I'm so frustrated, and a lot of people are. You have all these people follow you, and like 10 people look at your channels.
I spend my inner woman rage out on him, and
I'm
just pre-menopause right now, so anything can be possible.
Okay, so what's your favorite coffee? What do you like?
I like hot coffee with like caramel or vanilla.
I like a 100% Colombian black. That's it. That's about it. I can drink
My
some
mom
other.
loved that too, and trust me, I still love that every day. But people make fun of me. They're like, "Why don't you have any creamer at your house?" Like I invite people over, and they're like, "Where's your creamer?" And I'm like, "What?"
About 35 years ago, I used to put creamer in my coffee, and I stopped for a very good reason, and I just never went back. So
So you get my reason.
I
Like,
get your reason.
what's the point?
Absolutely. Why buy it if you don't drink it? So
Waste of money.
have you ever had the latte?
I have
You
to
ever got a
cut you
latte?
loose. I'm sorry I couldn't really be Robert tonight, but I tried to channel his energy.
You done good. You done good. I will tell him what a good job you did in the morning on the morning show.
I
So
was here much longer than I thought I would be.
you've done well. I'm just catching the score here near the end of the game. The Falcons are losing,
What game?
but they do have looks like they have an opportunity.
Hold on. What game?
But it is third down. Kansas City and the Atlanta Falcons. The
Oh,
Atlanta
okay.
Falcons are driving, so I might have to. I see the Dirty Bird in the background. It's third down though.
Wait, they're still going.
5. Yeah, it's about off, but the Falcons have a chance to hopefully steal a game here, win a game. But it's third down, and they broke it up, so it's fourth down. So do they kick the field goal and then try to stop them again? I don't know. So anyway,
well, thanks, Dave.
I think they're going to go for it. I think they're going to go for it. But anyway, thanks for being in here tonight.
You're welcome.
Weezer, do you listen to Weezer?
Yes.
Okay, I do know who they are. I'm not saying
you know who they are, but yeah,
I'm not a fan, but I do know who they are.
But like I said, I'm one of you.
Two things before you go. I'm going to pin you down. Two things before you go.
2 things.
One for me, one for you.
Okay.
Tell me a group that you would think I would be shocked at that you like.
Warrant.
You did like Warrant. Okay. Interesting. Now for me, for you, I will say I'm trying to think of which one to throw out there. Because I'm older, so some of us goes back a ways.
Because you were born in 47.
Born in what?
47?
No, I'm not that old. 65.
Good job. I made a joke.
You did. I'll say Soundgarden. Would you be shocked at all like Soundgarden?
Yes, I would be shocked.
Okay.
I am honestly shocked. I'm going to have a heart attack right now and fall over. Okay, wait. You really do like Soundgarden?
Sure.
Which song?
By the way, I bumped into the lead guitar player of Soundgarden at a concert once, or actually he bumped into me.
You're a big fan.
You wouldn't. Well, it was a Soundgarden concert. We were at a different concert, and he wanted to see the same guitarist I wanted to see of a particular band, and he was there. I guess they were playing in the area or in the city, maybe in another day or so. And this was in K-Town, we call it here, Knoxville, Tennessee, the heart of Tennessee volunteer country. I was at an armory watching a triple bill, and I didn't really anyway, it's a long story. But he kind of bumped into me because it was kind of jammed where we were at. We weren't in the middle where they were doing all the crowd surfing and mosh pitting and all that crap. I was on the side watching a guitar player, and he bumped into me and he said, "I'm sorry." It was loud, but he's like, "I'm sorry." And I'm like, "I know who you are. It's okay." But he was trying to he stood beside me, and we were looking up because, he was on the stage. So
you like rock and roll?
Well, yeah. I mean, I was very into rock and roll.
Do you like Nirvana?
I would say a song or two. That wasn't really my gig.
Okay. But you like Soundgarden?
Yeah.
Well, Chris Cornell was a really good vocalist.
Tremendous. Mm-hmm. Lyricist, the whole deal. But he had a lot of problems. Deep problems, which a lot of that genre of singers has, and many of them have taken their lives. There's at least 4 or 5.
And that's why I didn't start a rock and roll band. Want to see my guitar, though?
I have saw it. You showed it to me the other night. Or is it a different one?
Same one.
It needs tune.
I know. It's really... I was practicing for 2 days, so I need my tuner on there.
Yeah. When you write your first song, you'll have to play it for us. We'll get a Southern Fried Podcast
I'm going
exclusive.
to name it Southern Fried Song.
So what you should do is write the Southern. You just come up with some lyrics, write the Southern Fried Song, and then you give us rights to it so we can at least air it on the write your approval that we can show it. And we might find a show that fits because I like acoustic. So who knows?
Really
this could be the start of something great.
Dave, I want to cover the current song that you have.
I would love to hear you do that. That'd be great.
Like, why reinvent the wheel?
By the way, our original song you probably don't know, and we borrowed it because we were looking for something we didn't. This one we kind of sort of could use without copyright. And let me see if I can find that real quick. And I actually
if you saw any of my videos, I'm like kind of like drawing the line between copyright
You will probably hate this. Let me see if I can play this, but because I am very connected to Appalachia and that kind of music.
Oh no, I love Appalachia.
I think this is the one. We never did name it, but let me see if this is the one.
You think I hate Appalachia?
I absolutely love that.
When I was 8 months pregnant, I climbed the mountain coffee with my son in my belly. I love Appalachia.
Yeah. I love that because it not only it has that Appalachia sound, but it's actually called an Appalachian coal mine kind of song. It's just it's not even a full song. Well, it has no lyrics. It's just music. But
I met a band called the Backwoods Band up in Appalachia. Sorry.
Cool. You're all right. Are you wondering why we have a girl on the show? You don't know? This is my granddaughter. Come on in. We're fixing to close. Come on, don't be shy.
I want to meet her.
This is Juliet. This is Chick Bait. Come on. Yeah. Come on.
Just call me Juliet.
She's a little shy. Don't hide your face.
I too.
She'll be back in a second. She has to warm up. She doesn't know you.
Look, I've been shy too, and a lot of like other creators have been telling me you need to fix your audio. Your voice isn't loud enough. I'm getting corrected all the time. It's really embarrassing.
I thought your show was fine, so to heck with them. Your audio was fine. You had great graphics. It just fit you, like I said. Oh, you've done your nails.
Well, it's my personality. It is what it is.
Say hi before you go. Put your hands down.
Hi. No, it's okay. She waved.
She's laughing.
I don't force people to say hi to me.
She has that felt great. Oh, that guy. Yeah, he's got face paint on at the game.
Why are you pumping your fist, though, girl? Hi.
She was pointing at the ball game. This guy had his.
Oh, she took her hands down for a second.
So Atlanta got the ball back. They're still losing. And
what's her nickname? I'll call her by a fake name.
Her nickname? Sassafras.
Sassafras. Hi, nice to see
you. That's one of my nicknames for her, Sassafras, because she's a little sassy and full of crap. She says it's KFC because her initials are KFC. KFC, but I don't call her that. I call her. What do I call you?
Tell her I'm from Ohio. I'll be right back in a sec.
She's from Ohio.
Give her a sec.
Can you call me Sassafras? Brat.
Oh, Brat. She. Sometimes she says you call me Brat. What's the other one? Huh? What? I didn't say that.
Oh, your grades in school.
She's got one she's trying to pull up right now. Math has been a struggle for her, but
I do really good at math. I can tutor her.
She's brought up a couple, but she has a little problem. She probably is just slightly ADHD. It's hard for her to stay still. So,
hey, Dave.
We've actually did some filled some paperwork out.
Have you guys actually watched my videos? Then you realize I am ADHD.
Yeah. Well, I've watched one of them. I'll go back and watch again.
It's fine.
So, don't do that. So you're going to continue covering that case, or is that?
I love that case for one reason, because it's not solved. But my other case is Sebastian Rogers in Tennessee, still missing. Summer Wells is still missing, but like that one really breaks my heart more than I can.
I got into that one deep. I actually almost started a show over that case, believe it or not.
Yeah, and but it made me cry, and I just can't do it myself. I just let
I've watched everything, even his sister's cooking show and out in Utah, and of course the parents had their own little show on, and all the weirdo shows that go along with that. I've probably watched easily 10 to 15 different shows that are connected.
I mean, like I comment on other
but I
people's.
took a break.
Yeah, I had to take a break, and but I do go on other people's shows. I chat, you're like but you're the most off the wall show I chat on.
Yeah, we are off the wall, and we know it, and we love it. I mean, where out can you get? You get preaching, and you get. You said you saw me in a suit, so I guess you saw that pop up. But we do preaching, we do funnies. But we ain't done funnies in a week and a half. Rob, you're in trouble. We got to get those done. We
you don't judge me. You let me on here, and we pray for each other, and that's all that matters.
That's all that matters. That's all that matters, and we like having you come on. So, and again, I was by myself. Sad. I was by myself. Now I can do it.
I know I could see that. And I came on here tonight to make you happy.
I have the gift. You did. I have the gift of gab. Some people say you talk too much. So,
I saw your show pop up, and I ignored every other show just for you.
Oh, bless your heart. You bless my heart. I have not even putting that on.
No, it's fine.
Carman is so funny. He really is. He cracks me up.
Robert, I said hi.
Well, I'll see him in the morning.
Bye.
We're going to do our shout out. I'll give you.
I really can't pop up on YouTube when I'm on the. I need to visit.
I'll give you a sneak peek. This is our.
Wait, I'm just reading the chat now.
This is our city of the week, or for Monday. Our weird name city is Totwad, Missouri.
Oh, I can give you a few names that probably aren't appropriate for TV, but.
Well, if they're a city name, I mean, they're an official city name, we'd cover it. I mean, what are you going to say? It's the name of an area or a city. Now, we can't go with those places that people have just decided to call an area because that could be dirty and not true.
No, I meant like real names.
They're real names. We'll cover it.
Okay.
There's a place called Hell, Michigan. Actually, I think there's 3 cities in America called Hell.
You just made me laugh out loud.
I would think that there's probably a few cities need to change their name to Hell. One of those would be Chicago because it is a living hell to live there.
Maybe Cleveland.
It's like hell has opened up, and I feel bad for the people that live there.
Can I tell you one thing about Chicago?
Go ahead. I was born in Rockford.
It's a bigger circumference of area and population, and there are worse deaths happening in Cleveland, St. Louis, other cities. Chicago is kind of like they just keep using that because after the Civil War, the biggest migration of slaves went to Chicago. So they keep doing that as a red flag for politics, in my opinion.
Well, it is. I could see that.
In my opinion.
It's also the politics has been so bad in Chicago for so long. The fraud.
Yeah, for years.
But honestly, they've taken from the people. They've enriched themselves.
And but they're using it. The politicians are using that angle, in my opinion.
Well, what's going to happen is people are just going to quit going there, and then it's already started to happen. People will move.
I went down there once.
They're just killing themselves.
No, downtown's not too bad. Like every St. Patrick's Day, the river turns green.
Well, they have to pump that in there.
I know.
Are environmentalists okay with that?
No, I don't think so. But I'm not like one of those green liberals. You'll get to know me.
Yeah, I wasn't even saying that you were. I'm just from your.
I'm just saying.
Do environmentalists like that they turn the river green?
everything in the projects of Chicago is like kind of cemented in like the small block, and you can look up YouTube videos about this. I have, unfortunately. Okay. But it's not downtown, it's not in the suburb, it's not in the Chicago is really nice, actually.
Well, Toyota Man says he's been to Chicago and he can't stand it.
Well, you've been in the wrong areas.
North Shore's a terrible area of Chicago, especially at nighttime.
I wouldn't go there at nighttime.
I've actually never been to Chicago unless I was a baby.
But I wouldn't go to Cleveland at nighttime because the per capita rate of death is higher in Cleveland and in St. Louis. Like, you're more likely to DIE in these areas than you would in Chicago.
Oh, there's definitely a lot of problems.
Yeah. And I don't want to get into it, but I did want to shoot out my facts.
And you've done that.
I'm really good at data, and I'm a history major.
But did you like Data on the Star Trek: The Next Generation?
I don't watch that.
You never watched it, so you don't know who Data is?
No, I know who that is. It's a character.
It's a character, yes. That was not a robot.
No, but what I mean is that I studied data, and
I know. I'm just picking at you.
I know you are, and I'm trying to maintain my own.
Do I need to stop?
I got this. Want to hear some more guitar?
No, you got to tune it. It's got to be tuned.
I know it's not tuned. Stop making fun of it.
I'm not making fun of it. I'm just saying it needs to be tuned. It's a pretty guitar.
Thank you.
You were probably headbanging on it. You got it out of tune. I mean, I get it. You were playing. I don't know, "Creeping Death" by Metallica or something. I don't know, or Weezer. Yeah, he's playing Weezer.
Yeah.
So, well, all right, folks, we're going to get off here. First thing in the morning, 6 a.m.
Can I get off?
You can leave. Yeah, I'm a cup of coffee's on your way.
I want you to close out this show on your own. It's your show. Thank you for having me here. Blessings to you. God bless.
Hey, will you come back in and hey, she's already gone. No, she's still there. She just turned. Will you come back in right after the show for one thing? It'll just be me and you. I'm going to get you to do something. Okay. And then we'll be done. Take 2 minutes. It's great. It'll be great. But I have to resend the link. It'll be a new link. If you give me like 2 minutes, I'm going to end the show and I'm going to send you a link. It's easy.
Okay.
We'll see if you're game. It's easy. It's
Dave,
easy.
Are you believing me?
No, you give me just a minute and I promise you. I see the Chiefs celebrating, so it looks like they stopped them.
My cats are
going to lose.
Again. I need to feed them again.
Falcons have lost.
So should I close out? Okay, Dave, hold on.
Should
I close out the link or stay here?
Stay right there. I'm gonna send you a new link.
Okay, I'm gonna wait. You're sending me a new link.
A new link.
Can I close out this?
Yes.
Okay. I'll see you on our next link.
Yes. See you soon. Good night, everybody. See you in the morning, 6 a.m. We will be the Southern Fried Podcast morning show. Rob will be back. We'll kick your Monday off and we'll kind of see what's in store. We're going to look at Tightwad. We got Pets of the Week coming up with ARA. We're going to continue promoting their silent auction. And we're going to talk Monday night will be Mama Said. And that's always interesting. So, and sometime by Tuesday, we'll have Southern Talk will be a new show that I'm going to be doing. I don't know if Rob's going to be there. And a sports show that we got to get in, different things. Pray for Chris. Continue to pray for Rob, me, Cook, the whole gang, and pray for Tar Man. Pray for Chick Bait. Absolutely. And we will see you soon. Let me get my outro, and we'll see you next time. Salute.
Well, once again, it's time, my friends, for another meet and greet. We're Southern Fried and nationwide, so hang on to your seat. Look around, here's what I found. I guess you'll never know what you'll see on the Southern Fried Podcast.